All right, welcome to the Over Under podcast, where we not only discuss the money lines but also the over under. We just rebranded, formerly known as Rent Free MMA, but we are now known as the Over Under podcast. My name is Johnny, and we are going to discuss the UFC on ESPN 22, Whittaker versus Gastelum. Um, this card as a whole looks okay. I'm not too excited, and nothing really kind of jumps off the page at me. So I'm not gonna say that it's a really good betting opportunity for me, but there are a couple spots I do plan on playing though. However, so yeah. Without further ado, I'll start from the bottom on up, and the first fight of the night, on this card is going to be Tony Gravely versus Anthony Burchak. Gravely's a big favorite. He's probably gonna win this fight, but at that price, that's a no play for me. Burchak's not really that good, so yeah, I expect Tony Gravely to beat a stronger wrestler and the more powerful fighter here. So that's there's not really much you can do with that one here. As far as the over under goes, yeah, man, like Burchak tends to get finished. So, but I'm not playing that over or under. So next fight, Zero Farron versus Josiane Nunez. That's a skip. Bartosz Fabinski versus Gerald Mearshart, middleweight fight. I think this fight could go either two ways. I think everybody kind of knows this. It's either Fabinski gets his takedowns, which I think he will get the takedowns, and he'll either write out the decision win by top control, or he's going to get submitted off with either that or Gerald Mearshart will catch a submission off his back, which he likes to play guard. So, I really don't know. I think it's a 50-50 fight as far as like those two outcomes goes. I kind of have to go with Fabinski just because Top Control tended to win fights. And the only way that Gerald Mearshart wins this fight is getting that triangle or armbar off his back. Standing though, I can see Mearshart having the kind of the better stand up here because Fabinski doesn't really like to really stand up and seems like he just kind of wants to bulldoze his opponents down to the ground as soon as possible and as often as possible. So maybe Gerald will land those left body kicks that he likes to land and in the stand up and maybe possibly force a really bad takedown from Fabinski. But like I said, I do expect Fabinski to get his takedowns, but whether he doesn't. As long as he stays out of trouble, he'll probably win a decision here. But equal opportunity for Gerald Mearshart to land a submission off his back. Jessica Pena versus Lupita Godinez is a skip for me. Alexander Romanov versus Juan Espino. This is a pretty good fight. This fight probably should have been on the main card, but whatever. Interesting fight because both are heavyweight grapplers and at heavyweight, you don't really see too many grapplers. Neither guy are like powerful punchers, so we might see a grappling display here, and really tough to call or really say who's going to win that battle. Romanov looks like a really athletic heavyweight, really strong guy, really good slams, really good takedowns, and really good from the clinch. Juan Espino, really good grappler himself, really big dude, heavyweight guy, and man, I really don't know who's gonna win this fight. I'm gonna play the over, however. I think this, like I had mentioned earlier, neither guy are big punchers, so I think both guys are gonna like maybe grind it out a little bit, maybe find a late round finish, or it might actually even go all 3 rounds as well. So. Over 1.5 is going to be the play for me, and I might throw a little bit of money on somebody by decision here. I might throw. I'm going to side with Romanov just because he's the younger dude, and just seems like a hulkier, like more athletic guy. So I think he's going to have the athletic edge here. While Espino has probably going to have the slight striking advantage and probably the better submission artist here. But for the odd, yeah, I'm gonna go with Alexander Romanov by decision at plus 500, and then probably gonna go with the over 1.5 here. So not super confident though, but Tracy Cortez versus Justine Kish. Cortez is a pretty big favorite at negative 265. I don't think she should be that big of a favorite. I think this fight should be like close to even a pick'em. So I'm gonna go with Justine Kish for the odds, just out of value sake. But I mean, the fight could go either way. Cortez could probably land some takedown, then right out decision here. But I think Kish is gonna be the better striker here. She's gonna be a pretty active southpaw. But, it's a women fight. It's going to be a toss-up, so it's always a crapshoot there. The over is pretty expensive. It's negative 345. That's too high of a juice. However, that's probably going to hit. But, yeah, give me Kish by decision at plus 355. Just for odds sake, as far as the pick goes, it could go either way. So, main card, we have Ricardo Ramos versus Bill Algeo. Interesting fight because both of these guys kind of have the same build. Really tall dudes for the division. Lanky guys. Yeah, I'm not really sure who's going to win this fight. I think this is going to be a toss-up. I think the odds suggest that it is a negative. See here, what is it? Yeah, the odds are pretty close. Bill Algeo is a slight favorite at negative 125. Yeah, I mean, the fight should go over. I mean, Algeo is a zombie, so I don't think he's going to get finished here. Ramos has been finished in most of his losses, so I don't know. Ramos' durability is probably the reason why he's a slight underdog here, so not really sure. Not really sure how this fight goes, but I do think it's going to go over. However, at negative 200, not willing to pay that. Give me negative 160-ish, and I'll be willing to play that over. But, yeah, I don't know who's going to win this fight, though. Luis Pena versus Alexander Munoz. I don't really know how Munoz fights. I think he debuted against Gastelum lookalike, forget his name. Nasrat Hakpras, and he managed to survive a decision. Yeah, I'm not really sure how this fight is going to go either. I'm going to go with the over in this one as well. The over is set at 2.5 at negative 190. Let's see here. What is it here? I would maybe like it at 170-ish, but I guess 190 is not really too far off. I would go with the over here, but I don't know enough about Alex Munoz to make an educated analysis on this one here. I mean, there's not really much tape on him either, so what's to say? Who's to say? Next fight is gonna be Abdul Razak Al Hassan versus Jacob Malkoun. I mean, in almost most of Razak Al Hassan fights, it usually goes under. I mean, he goes balls to the walls in the first round and a half, and if he doesn't get it, then he tends to lose the fight. Malkoun doesn't really have much experience, so I'm guessing that Al Hassan's probably gonna go out probably gonna fight the way he normally fights and just come out the gates guns blazing, and I do think Malkoun did get caught by what's his face, Phil Haas, and just pretty much got blitzed there, so I don't expect anything different from Al Hassan's game plan here. So I don't like under 1.5, but I do think the under 1.5 will probably hit, and I do think Al Hassan will probably get the knockout here. So Malkoun doesn't really have much experience. So yeah, Andre Arlovski versus Chase Sherman. Arlovski is a slight favorite at negative 125. Probably gonna go with Arlovski here, just looking like the better footwork guy, and Chase Sherman does have some really good leg kicks, though. Maybe it'll stop Arlovski from moving around too much. But Sherman is just really, really hittable and doesn't really move his head. And I think, Arlovski over the years has kind of evolved, and his boxing is looking a lot better. So, gonna go with Arlovski here, negative 125. As far as the over-under on that one goes, it'll probably go over. So that's Arlovski and the over. So Jeremy Stevens versus Jakar Klose. Pretty close fight as well. I think if the fight were to finish, obviously it would be Jeremy Stevens finishing Jakar Klose, but Jakar is he's really good at what he does, and that's you know, I mean, yeah, winning the fight in the clinch and getting it really dirty. So I'm thinking that he'll probably try to push Jeremy to the fence and just do his Usman impression. So as far as at range goes, both guys are pretty good at kicking the calf kicks. So that'll be really interesting to see how they stack up at range. Up in the pocket though, Jeremy Stevens obviously has the power advantage. He's gonna be hitting harder here, but yeah, I'm not really sure who's gonna win this fight. I think Jeremy is moving back up to 155 here too, so it'll be interesting to see where he stands with that one. I do think the fight should go over at negative 160, but like I mentioned, Jeremy can finish this fight. But yeah, I'm gonna slightly lean toward Jeremy Stevens, as well as the over 2.5. Main event: Robert Whittaker versus Kelvin Gastelum. Really good fight. I'm gonna go with the over 4.5 just because both guys are just too damn tough. Gastelum has a blockhead, so I like the over 4.5, over 3.5, and even the over 2.5. As far as the odds goes, I'm gonna lean towards Whittaker winning this fight, but at negative 250, that's kind of a no play for me. The value is on Gastelum, but man, not really sure. I mean, Gastelum he looked good in his last fight. He looked a little more disciplined, a little more serious, a little less immature. So, yeah, I think it's gonna be a dogger pass situation on this one here with Kevin Gastelum at plus 210. But the play for this one here is gonna be the over 4.5. The over for this one, whether you play the 2.5, 3.5, or 4.5. So yeah, just to recap, card doesn't look too great of a betting opportunity for me. I do have a couple dogs I'm playing just out of dog sake, and some overs and a couple of fighters by decisions. Just to go over that again, I'm going with Romanov and Espino over 1.5. It is a heavyweight fight though, so always got to be careful with those. And then the Justine Kish by decision, just for odds sake. Romanov by decision, just like I said, just for a prop for odds sake. The over for the main event, Gastelum Whittaker. The money line for Andre Arlovski, and the rest of the card I can't really recommend to play on, but I'll probably end up playing some of these just for action. But yeah, if you want to see some of my plays, I'll be putting it in the description box down below. So all right, up until next time, thank you for listening to the Over Under podcast. I'll be breaking down the over unders for the next card, so as well as the money line. So stay tuned.